Hi, I am Beth Porter of Earth and Ether, and I am here talking today about this concept of being loyal to your idea of struggle or the idea that you are loyal to struggle in your life. What I mean by loyalty or having loyalty, and this is something I see in my practice a lot, which is why I'm sharing about it because it's pretty much a common thread through most of the clients that I've worked with. And then definitely a huge, like soul lesson, piece of soul curriculum in my life. A loyalty is essentially an extra tie. I mean, this is like very much simplifying it, but it's basically an extra tie or bind or connection to this concept that you have to be loyal to something over anything else. And so if I'm loyal to struggle, it is in my identity to believe that I need struggle in order to be who I am. In order to create the life that I want to create, I must struggle. This is something that many people have because, well, there's generational reasons and things of that nature. But if we're just focusing on this life and this experience that you're experiencing from age zero to where you are now, uh, this is it's supported by societal beliefs and it's perpetuated by the systems that we live within. So while there are ways to reframe this, a lot of people come at it, a lot of coaches and spiritual teachers come at it from the perspective of mindset work, of choosing to let things be easy. I hear that a lot. You can just choose to let things be easy. Struggle is a choice. Struggle is a choice. Letting something be easy is a choice. And hear me out. That's true, but it's not the whole story. And it certainly hasn't been the whole story in my life. While it might be a choice to choose to let something be easy, and I'm using very broad terms, right, to explain the concept, but I want to acknowledge, and I mean, this is what my work is, respect and honor that each one of us has a unique experience, story, potentially trauma related to what struggle means, what anything means in your life. And so to just blanketly talk about something like it's a choice, just let it be easy, you can just choose ease, is just it's lacking too much nuance for me and has never worked for me. I've tried all the things. I'm sure I haven't tried all the things because life keeps going and more things keep coming. But in my journey of healing and transformation and stepping further and further into, my highest self and being able to show up and share with others, I have experienced tons of struggle. And it is a choice. I was choosing struggle. I do choose struggle in certain areas of my life. But that is because I believe somewhere inside, or I have believed, a part of me believed that I needed to hold on to this loyalty in order to be who I am. When we have a loyalty to something, it is a much deeper, more tribal connection to your system, to your construct of identity, but also to your body, to your aura, to your whole field. And we need to be able to reconcile why it's there and release it in order to then reprogram, rewire, do the mindset work, throw affirmations on it. Affirmations and mindset work are supportive to the process of healing, but you have to go to the root. If you're trying to just tell yourself every day, I get to choose to let things be easy. How can I let things be easy? And your mind can't wrap its head around it. Your identity construct doesn't understand it. You're actually doing more harm than good, because what happens is you're telling yourself that you need to be believing something, and part of you is like, that's this future version of me believes that this is true, but why can't I meet up? Why can't I meet up with that version now? What's wrong with me now? You end up further damaging your psyche, and you're actually not honoring what your psyche believes to be true in order to then let it shift. So, I talk a lot about acceptance being the key to change and the key to healing. And many people talk about this. Like, it is, that paradox of as soon as I accept where I am, everything can then shift. And that's, on a high level, kind of what I'm talking about here. We must accept the reality of your relationship to any loyalty that you have. But today we're talking about struggle. You must accept the reality of that relationship to then be able to move past it. And saying affirmations every day isn't going to cut it. So, I just wanted to come on to say that there ultimately is a decision, and there is a choice, but it's not that easy. And so in my work, I look at, what particular stories. Well, first we look at where in the body you're holding this relationship, you're holding this loyalty. And then we look at specifically, okay, well, what's the story around that? And then is there an even earlier story that I need to go back to? Do we need to honor something that happened in your childhood that taught you to believe that this was true? Because then everything else in your world has like backed it up, right? Everything else is like showing you that this is true. So you can't, we have to like pull it out from the root. And once we do that, we can then, forgive yourself for believing that you had to believe that. And you can forgive yourself for, all the times that you've beat yourself up for not being able to change or not being able to let things be easy or whatever. And then usually there's some grief, the grief of, all of the years that things were hard and you could have just let it be easy, things like that. Or all of the years where you did experience struggle and you believed that that was just what you were going to have in this life. And that was just what you were given. And there's like so many things. Obviously it's particular to each person's individual experience. I know for me, one of my most like tangible healing moments, or it's really the thing that brought me into the healing space, was healing my cystic acne. So I had it for 17 years. It was a massive struggle, something that no one in my family has acne. No one in my family has skin problems. And I'll go into that in another video at some point, like the actual story of that. But basically being able to believe that it was possible for me to exist, like to exist without having to struggle around my skin, was like a huge thing to change. It took me years of healing. It took me understanding how it was connected to my identity. It took me releasing and resolving like emotions and emotional patterns that weren't even mine, that I'd picked up from family, that related to how my identity connected skin issues, struggle, and me. I mean, it was like it was some the layers, right? But then ultimately through the process, I learned how to accept where I was and open my mind and my body and my system to new possibilities, and then to act from that place. So that's what this work is really all about, is releasing what is holding you in that pattern and in that position that's keeping you stuck in, again, with this example, this loyalty to struggle, this loyalty to things having to be really hard. This one's even more meta because it's like, once I healed my loyalty to struggle, which is something I'm still continuing, right? Like it's a continued practice, just in all honesty. It hasn't like fully dropped off in all areas of my life. It's just dropped off in certain areas of my life. And so then now I can kind of take the learning and the embodiment and then apply it to another area without really needing to do some like deep healing work, right? Like, so anyway, but this is kind of meta, because the idea that, I'm loyal to struggle would mean that I would have to struggle in order to finally deserve to not have to have the loyalty to struggle. And so essentially, it really worked in my favor to be spending many years and a lot of work healing and a lot of self-development and a lot of, a lot of different things, struggling through all of these different things in order to prove to that part of me that it was like, okay to finally let it go. Ultimately, I had to make the decision and the choice that like enough was enough. And like that is something that we all have. You can make the choice. You could technically make the choice today. Enough is enough. I am done struggling. I am done with my loyalty to struggle. But if you don't really know what it's connected to, and you don't have any context around how it uniquely shows up in your own psyche and your system, your life experience, then you're likely not going to be able to just make that choice. It's not going to be accessible to you. This is what gets me so fired up because it's like people are just talking about it like it's so easy. All you have to do is just choose to not struggle anymore. And it's just so much more nuanced than that. So, anyway, my beef with affirmations and the mindset only approach is that, however, if you are, again, like I said, that supports your journey in releasing, but it's just not the whole journey. And so if you're just starting on this process of opening up to the idea that, wow, maybe I do have a loyalty to struggle. I can see this in all these areas of my life. And I can see how it's natural for me to like go through something hard in order to feel good enough or worthy or deserving of something coming to me or something being easier, then I encourage you to do some digging, and then if you are going to use affirmations to support you, craft affirmations that really work for your system. Super, super important, no matter what step of the game you're in. That if you're like, I like the idea that I can just choose to not struggle, I like the idea that I can choose to let things be easy, then let the affirmation meet you where you are. So something like, yeah, I love and accept the idea there's a possibility that there's more ease that can happen in my life. I give myself permission to release the belief that everything has to be a struggle. I give myself permission to be willing and open to see things differently. I forgive myself for all of the years that I believed that this is the way it has to be. I forgive myself for believing that I can't change. I forgive myself for believing that this is what I was handed, so this is what I receive. I forgive myself for believing that there's something wrong with me that I can't let go of struggle when other people can. I love and accept this new awareness around the idea that there's a possibility that I can shift this pattern. I love and accept all the grief I carry around my loyalty and my relationship to struggle. I give myself permission to grieve and mourn the loss of my life, the loss of my life force energy, the loss of opportunities and experiences that I missed out on because of my belief in struggle. I forgive myself for believing that this was the only way. With this new awareness, I open up windows of possibility to be shown how I can step forward into a life of more ease and less struggle. And you can keep going on like that, just crafting more statements, really anchoring into compassion and grace and forgiveness and, not pressuring yourself to be somewhere that you're not. That's a lie that we're told from all angles, and something that I am constantly, I don't know if I'll ever, I have accepted, I don't know if I'll ever move past this, this conflict that we constantly have to work with. But just the idea that like, that like all of a sudden you'll just be like, it's like flipping a switch. Sometimes healing feels that way. But with things that have been deeply rooted, to me, it just becomes then part of my practice of life. The inevitable doubts, the inevitable reminders of these old limiting beliefs show up. They show up, and it's like just the next level of clearing it and walking away from it and choosing me and choosing a higher truth. But there were times where I could not see a higher truth. I didn't have any visibility to it. And so when people would say what they say, and I desperately wanted to believe them, I would be crushed inside and further perpetuate the belief that I carried, that I struggle, but people around me don't. Or I'm the one that helps other people, but I can't have that experience too. That's not true. But I believed it was true for a long time. So if this resonated with you, please reach out. Please let me know in the comments. Please share. Um, Again, my name is Beth Porter of Earth and Ether. You can look more at my work at earthandetherhealing.com. And yeah, I look forward to getting to know you. Take care.